Well, here we are. Are you ready? Good to see you. Thank you very much, Ben, for turning your camera on. Paul, for turning your camera on. Look at these brave people. Anna's here. Thank you. Nice to see you. Now I'm going to try and pronounce your name, Gilles. If I've pronounced that incorrectly, please can you spell it out in the chat? Was that right? Was it? Close enough. Okay. Thank you for being kind. Justin's here. ZA.LPL is here. Remus is here. Heather. Legarius is here. There's a whole bunch of folk. And thank you, Damien. It's really good to see you all. And for those of you with your cameras on, you will get a better service from me. Because what I'm doing is I'm looking at your faces and I'm going, is this working for them? Is this landing with them? Are they laughing at my jokes? Unlikely, but at least I can adjust what it is I'm saying and how I'm saying it. Jerry's here, Lee's here, Sarah and Heather and so on. Thank you very much, guys. It's really good to see you. So we've got an hour together. In this hour, my intention is really, I'm going to give you the tool that I use when I'm coaching and mentoring businesses, startup businesses, new businesses, or businesses that are restarting. I mean, many of the people that we've seen since COVID are scratching their heads going, okay, so the world changed. Now my business has changed. We're one of them. We're just in the process of changing what we deliver and how we deliver it for exactly those reasons. We're not living in the same world. Just give me a thumbs up or stick the letter Y in the chat if you've experimented with ChatGPT yet. Like if ever you want any advice or any information or evidence that the world has changed, right? I love it. Is it blowing your heads? Are you still scratching your heads going, I don't really know how to use it? You're like, it's cool. And I know it's really powerful, but I don't really know what for yet. I was a bit like that when Google arrived. Do you remember those days? That's how old I am. I'm dating myself. So look, it's super interesting. Mata, it's coming. Trust me. I did a few experiments. I spent my bank holiday Monday experimenting with prompts. And I got trolled by someone in the restaurant that I was having lunch in who thought I was streaming my lunch on Twitch. But no, this is the sad life that I lead. I was sat in the corner of a restaurant with my laptop open going, wow, I just created an automated social media strategy for an affiliate marketing business. How cool am I? Really got to get out more. Really got to get out more. Yeah, okay, maybe, Matt, maybe. So look, here's the thing that I'm expecting that most of the people that are on this call, most of you guys have either started something and you're not getting the results that you want, or you're experienced and you're kind of restarting because the world's changed, because your circumstances have changed and you're having another go at it, but you need to kind of relaunch from a different angle. Can you type up stuck if you've started something but you're not getting the results that you want? And can you type restart if you're experienced with your business, but you're having to restart and try a different angle? I just really want to get a sense of where you're at. And if I haven't described your circumstances, then just let me know in the chat where you're at, just so I can get my head around. Bit of both, Sarah. Okay, love that. You're in the right place. I've got you. Ben's just starting. Ben, you're in great shape here because basically I'm going to give you the conversation that we'd have in a year's time if you weren't getting the results that you want. So you're getting a head start, which is nice. Just starting as well. Hi, Kev. Great. I started, but not getting what I want, says Remus. Kind of restart, but new to the work that I want to do. Okay, got it. Ali, you're wanting the new direction. Good. Right, this is great, guys. You're in exactly the right place. Now, I think one of my intentions today, I'm going to try something I've never tried before with a startup audience. It's something that I do with some of my coaching clients, because I've got some strategies for you, right? I've got some step-by-step stuff that I'm going to take you through. But also, I want to give you the chance just to have a bit of headspace for a minute. Now, it might be that during this call, it might not, the biggest insights are going to come not from me, they're going to come from you, right? So I want to invite you guys to listen as deeply as you can, because I might say something that has an impact, but it's more likely that the space in between what I say, you're going to suddenly go, wait a minute, I know what to do. And I want you to be open to that, because you already have everything you need to be successful with your business idea. You've already got it within you, every single person here. And I'll explain why I think that as we go through. And in fact, it's not even a belief. Like, I know it's a fact. I know it's a fact by the very nature of us all being human beings. We're all creative souls. We can solve problems at pace. We've been doing it for centuries. You know, for a couple of 100 million years, we've been evolving and coming up with new ways of doing things and surviving. Every single one of us has got that capability within us, right? So I want to create a bit of space, because the chances are, if you're feeling stuck, your head is probably full. So one of the greatest gifts I can give you guys is to empty it a bit. Yeah, it's like, Jerry, you're up for that. A little bit of head emptying. Type the letter Y in the chat if you may be either an overthinker or a perfectionist. Type the letter Y in the chat. Oh, there we go. This is Perfectionists and Overthinkers Anonymous, guys. This has nothing to do with business. I get it. How do I know? For two reasons. Number one, you're looking at one. Number two, this is not my first rodeo, guys. I've been doing this kind of work since about 2007. And before that, I've started and failed, and started and had a little bit of success, and started and had a lot of success in loads of different businesses over the years. So the Rebel School, if you're new to the Rebel Business School, we're 10 years old, and we've trained something like 20,000 people in 7 countries. And it's fascinating to me how people in America, in Indianapolis, people in Wellington, New Zealand, people in Swindon, people in Windhoek, Namibia, are all facing exactly the same challenges that you're facing. They're just in a different postcode, right? So it's the same issues all around the world, guys. So I'm going to distill something like 15 years of experience into the next sort of 45 minutes or so. Right, just kidding. We're going to cut all the crap, and we're going to go straight to the bit that I think you need to hear first. Now, I just saw there was somebody, who was it, that said, so both Glenda and Gilles, I'm going to keep going, Gilles, you said that you've either got lots of different ideas and you don't know where to start, or you're looking for ideas. I'm going to gear this session towards people that have already started it and a bit stuck, but I want you to know you are going to get some ideas from this call straight away, because I'm just going to give you the formula of where to go back to when you're stuck. That's what this is all about. So let's dive in then, guys. Let's dive in. And okay, now I'm hoping that, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the words, the Unstuck formula on your screen? Thank you very much. Cool. Right, let's dive in then. The number one thing that's holding you back, what do you think it is? What's the number one thing that's holding you back? Please stick it in the chat. Have your best guess of what you think it is. I would love to know. For some of you, it might be money. Some of you, it might be fear. Some of you, it might be something else. Hey, it's so interesting looking at your answers. You've basically, like, I'm going to summarize pretty much all of your answers. No, in fact, all of your answers. The number one thing that holds any of us back is thought. It's what goes through our heads. That's the thing that's holding us back. And what I'm going to attempt to do is to help you think a little differently, as well as giving you some more information. So on the left-hand side, there's where you are now. There's a bunch of thinking, or sometimes we call it stories. And that's the thing that is preventing you, whether it's cash or a different lifestyle or whatever it is that you want. There's a bunch of stuff in the way. If we remove it, we can get there a lot quicker. Now, there's something about the word story which I find fascinating. If you're telling yourself a story about something, you're describing either a past version of you that had an experience or a future version of you that hasn't happened yet. Neither of them exist anymore. So, for example, I hear people say things like, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not very good at sales. I am not technically gifted. I'm not someone that can use social media. I don't like social media. and all of these things. And when I hear these sentences from people, it's like a giant signpost with arrows going story, like, because I know it's made up. It's made up. And there's two things I can do from you. Number one, I can help you reframe it immediately with a magic 3-letter word. Does anyone know a magic 3-letter word? If someone came up to you and they said, I'm not very good at sales, I'm really awful at sales, I need to get better at sales. There's lots of different ways that we can say it. But when someone says to me, I'm not very good at sales, or I'm not very good at social media, yeah, keep going, nearly. I like that thinking, Ben. If you can make it fun, I mean, it helps, doesn't it? It really does help. Business shouldn't be serious, folks. If you want to be serious every day, go and work for someone else. They get really grumpy if you have too much fun. You know, business is supposed to be fun. That's what this opportunity is for you. And for those of you that are still figuring out which idea to choose, like, go where the fun is. Go where, you know, where your face lights up. So Anna's got it and Sarah's got it. That's my magic 3-letter word, is the word yet. Yet. If you're thinking to yourself, yeah, but I'm not very good at sales, I'm not very good at business, I'm not very good at insert whatever is the story that's holding you back, the first thing that I would say is be really annoying and go, yet. You're not very good at sales yet. And that, it just invites a different possibility in your future. Okay, everyone okay so far? Glenda, you've got your hand up, I've noticed. Did you want to jump on and chat about anything? Was it an accident? Did you want to ask a question? Now's your chance.
No, sorry, it was just by accident. It was by
Okay,
an answer for the earlier question. Sorry.
All right, no worries. Got it. Okay, beautiful. Right, so let's keep going then. So really, the three gifts that I wanted to give you during this hour, folks, is number one is the space, the headspace, to maybe see something a little bit different than how you're currently seeing it. And who knows, like, you might have had an insight already that you go, wait a minute, maybe I've been telling myself a story about something. Here's a question for you. What story do you need to tell yourself in order to get to where you want to get to quicker? I'm learning how to get excited about sales. That's a good story. Start there, you know? So the space to see something differently. I've got a step-by-step process. And if you've experienced Rebel Business School before, then you might have seen this. You might not have heard me describe it in the way that I'm about to describe it, but it really is a kind of, it's like a diagnostic tool for getting unstuck, right? So I'm going to give you what that is. And I want every single one of you to come off of this call with some clarity over what your next action is, and actually take it today. Let's not wait, because if for every second that ticks by after this call is finished, if you don't take that action, it's less likely to happen. In fact, for some of you will be able to take the action during the call. And that would be quite cool, wouldn't it? Okay, you know, I've sent my first sales email whilst I'm listening to Simon yak on about whatever it was he was, you know. There's like, I've got some good information for you folks, but really the life that you want is on the other side of the action that you're going to take. And I want you to take action. And look, trust me, I've got a master's degree in procrastination. You know, for days, weeks, months, sometimes years, I've like hesitated. You know, those any of those that have had kids, maybe you got young kids, you know, those things that you hang over the door frame and then you put your baby in it and the baby sort of hangs there. Like, whenever I think of procrastination, I think of myself like hanging in one of those things, going like, I just can't do anything and I can't go anywhere and I'm feeling stuck. And who knows, maybe some of you are feeling like that at the moment. So if I can get you to a place that gets you out of the door frame, like, I'm pretty sure not many businesses have been built in the door frame while suspended 2 feet above the ground. So let's get out that and let's, you know, let's go do something, folks. Let's go make something happen. So that's what the plan is for the next few minutes. Okay, so let's start here then. The space to see something differently. For that, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, guys. And I want you, I mean, it's up to you. You're welcome to put them in the chat. I'd love to read them. If you'd rather not, that's also cool. But I want you to answer the question because there's power in these questions. Okay, here's my first question. This is all about helping you to create the space to see something differently. What do you really want? What do you really want? You know, and let me add a bit more context to it. Okay, you guys are going for the freedom, and yeah, funny, isn't it? Financial freedom. Here's the thing. If you woke up tomorrow morning and everything was exactly how you wanted it to be, it's almost like, well, I went on this webinar, this dude called Simon had a magic wand and he waved it. And then I've woken up and everything in my life and my business was exactly how I wanted it to be. You know, like, how would you know? What would let you know if your business was exactly how you wanted it? It's my favorite question, Halima, as you know. So what do you really want? What do you want to have happen, guys? And I think like the next, for those of you, especially those of you who put freedom and financial freedom, by the way, I will massively resonate with that. I massively resonate with that. You know, it's possible to get freedom from overthinking in any moment. So for those of you that are feeling like, you know, your head's going all over the place, you can just breathe. It's just thoughts. And actually, you know, it's when the thoughts settle, that's when you really start getting some insight. I took a walk around the reservoir first thing this morning near me. I had like 8 ideas before I got to the first bend, you know, just because it was calm. We've got to look after ourselves. So I'm going to read some of your answers now. I want to work because I want to, not because I have to. And with people I enjoy spending my time with. I love that. And guys, like, this is just the starter for 10. And I'm going to invite you outside of this call is to do some more reflection on that question, put some more detail on it. You know, what does that look like? What does fun and excitement and enjoying your day look like for you? Where are you? Who are you with? What kind of work are you doing? What lights you up the most? I love your answers. Okay, so are you ready for the next question, guys? By the way, the stuff's quite powerful. I should have warned you at the start. Like sometimes you have a thing where you go, oh no, I never thought of it like that before. Oh no. Who knows where this will take us, guys? Wherever it takes us, you can handle it. You can handle it. So here's my follow-up question. So for all of the answers that you've popped in the chat, what does that mean for you? Why? What's the purpose? What does joy and peace and space for creative freedom to be constant, Rowena? What does that give you? What does that mean for you? And really what I'm doing here, guys, like financial freedom, Stephen, for example, what does that give you? Jerry, flexibility, freedom, fun, helping others achieve. What does that give you? What I'm trying to do here for you is open up a line of curiosity, of inquiry in yourselves so that you can tap into your why, because your why is leverage, you know? And I really want you to sort of see how you can use your why as leverage to get you out of bed when you're not feeling it, to take the action when you're feeling scared. I love some of these answers. Inner peace, Anna. That's what everybody's searching for. Just most people don't realize it. Some people think that inner peace is on the other side of a Louis Vuitton handbag. I'll feel better when I get this bag. I saw a car today and I got sent this video, a £9 million car. Like, who can have a car for £9 million? What in the world has come to? Would that give me inner peace? Probably the opposite. Can you imagine trying to park it in Morrison's? You'd be distraught, wouldn't you? Anyway, I digress. So look, what I'm trying to do here, guys, is to get you to tap into your why, because that's the thing that will really propel you forward. Because I've noticed something. Because when I asked you that question of what's holding you back, and most of you said me, myself, my confidence, fear, knowing what to do first, too much information, overwhelm, and so on. The mistake that I see lots of people make is that they're waiting to feel a certain way before they can take any action. Right. And the analogy I like to use with this is like, imagine that I'm teaching my little one to swim at the moment. It's the funniest thing ever. I see in this little 7-year-old doggy paddle, he can swim about 6 meters on his front, and there's so much action going on, but just not a lot of progress. Bless him, you know. And it's so interesting watching how he deals with fear. You know, because there was a moment when he said, well, there's no way I can do that, whatever the next goal was that I gave him. I think I gave him like half a width of a pool to do without sinking, actually. Like he said, Dad, you're letting me drown. I said, well, I'm encouraging you. It's just take it as encouragement. But watching what happens, like, he doesn't need to feel confident to be able to take action. He can still take action, even though he's scared. But because the way that our monkey brains work, if there's a get out, if there's a way of, oh, that's a bit scary, let me think about that some more to make it scarier. It almost like it prevents us from taking the action that we need. Right. So you don't need to feel a certain way to take the action that you need to take. This is the context that I want to give you a process, guys, but I want to set you up for giving you the most powerful way of thinking about it in the short time that we've got together that I can, which is dial up your why, leverage it, think about it, picture it in your mind. You know, if some of you are here because you want to build a better life for yourself or for your kids or for your family, some of you are here because you want to teach your kids, you want to show them something. That was one of my whys. That was part of my leverage. Some of you are here because you're fed up of working for somebody else. You just don't enjoy it anymore. And the discomfort of having to go somewhere you don't want to be, with people that you don't want to be with, doing something that you don't want to do. The pain is now kind of got to a point where you can't deal with it anymore. So you're trying to figure out another way. Some of you are here for that. Some of you are here because you're fed up of being skint. That was one of my bits of leverage. You know, I bet I'm not the only person in this call that's put a bank card in a machine, typed in the PIN number, 1234. Oh, so I said it out loud. And then firstly, you're hoping that the cash point is a £10 minimum, not a £20 minimum. Because if it's a £20 cash point, then you're not going to, you know that. Have you ever been in that thing where you type in, you go, I want cash out, and then you sort of look away, you go, is it going to let me have any money or not? I've been there, folks. I've raided my eldest son's piggy bank to put cash on the electricity key, right? And to buy bread and milk. Never going back there again. And never putting my income in the hands of somebody else. Now, that's even more important given the speed at which the world is changing right now. So let's take control of our own direction, folks. Let's not put our well-being financially or emotionally or physically in anyone else's hands but our own. And that's what the gift of entrepreneurship is. So on the other side of your fear, whatever it might be, is the life that you really want. So a little bit like my lad in the swimming pool, take a deep breath, jump in, we can splash about for a bit. We can always get out, dry ourselves off and have a hot chocolate for a bit to recharge our batteries after we've scared ourselves. But we don't need to feel something to take action. We can just take the action and feel it anyway, right? So let's talk about the next bit then, guys, the step-by-step process. The step-by-step process is all about saying, if you came to me in 3 months' time and said, Simon, I'm stuck. I came on your webinar. I did some of the things that you suggested, but I'm still not getting the results that I want. This is the process that I'm going to go through with you. This is what we would go through step by step. And it looks like that. And I'm going to break it down for you. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the love heart round the outside. Have you picked a sector, a kind of thing, an area of business that lights you up? If you have, please, can you tell your face now? Especially if you've got your cameras on. Like if you've picked, just so I get a sense of like, I'm really excited by this, Lime, and then you go. If you think, I'm not sure, you go. Now there's a few, yeah. Now some of you might not be sure because you haven't figured out how to make it work yet. But some of you might not be sure because, well, you're just not sure. And that's okay. Like, this is part of the process. You're exactly where you need to be. Do you think I came up with a business idea first time round that worked how I wanted it to, panned out how I wanted it to, and it lit me up? It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. No way. It's taken me a few goes at it over the years. But what I want to do is, like, it took me, I don't know, it's taken me the best part of 20 years to get where I am now with trying different business ideas and projects, right? But my long cut is your shortcut. I'm teaching you everything that I've learned in 20 years in an hour. And this is the bit that I really want you to pay attention to. What's the point of building a business that doesn't light you up? You might as well go and work for somebody else. And you might not get it right first time, but that is part of the process. You kind of go down one route, you do it for a bit, you run it as a mini experiment. And that's what this process I'm giving you now, it's the mini experiment model. It's what we've built the Rebel Business School on. It's about saying, you don't need a business plan. You definitely don't need money. You don't need to run around in circles figuring out whether you need business bank accounts and what your legal structure is. What you actually need is a customer and more of them, so that you can figure out, do I enjoy it? Does it work? Am I making enough money? If the answer to those three things is yes, crack on. If the answers to one of those things or more of those things is no, then you go back to the beginning and then you make some changes. Or maybe it's this and maybe it's that. It's like, you're sort of tacking your way to, for anyone that's been on a sailing boat before, if you haven't got an engine, you sort of change the position of the, I'm not an expert sailor, I get so you get the idea. We kind of go in zigzags across the water to get to where we want to get to. That to me is what it's like running a business constantly. You're trying stuff, it doesn't work. You try something different, works a bit, refine it. Oh, it's working, great, go back to the beginning and so on. Okay. So first step, does it light me up? I'll never forget Ellie Verrecchia. She's on Instagram. She's a really talented and successful artist from the Southwest. She came on day one of a Rebel Business School course, which I'll tell you a bit more about. She came on day one thinking that she was going to set up a PR company because she spent 15 years in PR. The conversation I'm having with you now was the thing that made her go, wait a minute, that's the business that I think I should start. That's not the one that I really want to start. That's not the one that's in my heart. And she went in a completely different direction. She said, I got no idea how I'm going to make it work financially, but I've always dreamed of being an artist. I'm going to make it happen. And she changed direction completely just on this conversation. So what's in your heart? And if you're not sure, your next job is to run a mini experiment. And that's what the 3 circles will enable you to do. This is all about the mini experiment, guys. You don't go from 0 to successful business in one step. And that's basically the biggest difference, I think, between working for somebody else and working for yourself. When you work for somebody else, you go from haven't got a job to getting paid the money that you're expecting to get paid doing a job that you're told what it is. Whereas when you're coming up with your own thing, you go from 0 to 0.2 to -5 to 0.4. And then it's just a process. It's a constant process, not a finished job. All right. So I think what stops people moving forward is the frustration that it doesn't pan out in reality, that it was happening in their heads. It feels different, but that's part of the process. That is the game. That is the game. Okay. And this is fundamentally different from how we've been trained through education. So we've been trained to be good employees, guys. It's no secret. Victorian era schooling system, a bell rings, everybody stands up, and that happens 6 times a day, every day for something like 12 years or longer. Like eventually after 12 years, we've had that, curiosity almost beaten out of us. But we're back, baby. But if you want to change the way that you make money, you have to change the way that you think. That's really what I'm doing. I'm kind of going, it's okay for it to fail. In fact, you're going to get most things wrong. You have to do that in order to figure out what works. And that was quite hard for me to start with because I'm not a natural born entrepreneur, if there is such a thing. By the way, I don't think there is. But I started this journey at the age of 30 and I made all the mistakes that most people make. But you don't need to make those mistakes you can make new ones. Anywho, right. So let's go on to the circles then, guys. So let's say, okay, so I've picked the area which I'm excited for. I'm into that. I like it. Now we need to choose in circle A, one product or one service. Now it's interesting. I saw in our Facebook group today, I think it was Kate did a post like, am I doing too much? And she's writing books, developing courses and doing all sorts of stuff with her business, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't do lots of things. I'm saying when you're stuck, go back to one thing. This is like coming home. You know, we kind of go off on our travels and we get excited about our businesses. We think, oh, I can, you know, let me pick on yoga teachers for a minute. Sorry if you're a yoga teacher. I love yoga. I love yoga teachers, but it's just a really good example of what happens. Someone goes, they love heart. I'm passionate about yoga. Yoga is in my heart. I want to start a yoga business. So I say to them, cool, what are you selling? And they say, well, I'm selling one-to-one. I'm selling yoga classes. I'm doing yoga online. I've got a yoga blog, a yoga YouTube channel. I want to do retreats and I'm selling my own branded yoga clothing. And I go, wow, you sound really busy. And they go, yeah, I'm not making any money. I think I know why. Pick one of those things. Don't try and do them all at once. If you're established, do them all at once. Do as many as you can. That's when you diversify your income. That's when you go, okay, I'm making some money. I've got some customers. Let me figure out what other stuff I can sell them. In fact, you have to figure out what stuff you can sell them, because that's the difference between a business surviving and not surviving. It's the upsell and cross-sell magic, right? We'll come on to that if we get time, because I can feel myself getting a bit ranty and a bit excited, which means like I tend to run over time. So, right. So I'm going to get myself back on track for a minute. I'm going to take a breath. Everyone take a breath or a drink. By the way, during lockdowns, there would have been whiskey in there. I was doing these Facebook lives. Alcohol's not big or clever, kids. I don't recommend it. It got me through lockdown. But it's just coffee now. Anyway. I get sometimes I can be a little bit like a hairdryer that's been put on the highest setting and you've got this information coming at you. So I just wanted to create some space for you guys for a second. So let's go back to yoga teachers for a minute. Like, how am I going to help that yoga teacher? I'm going to say to them, what's your best guess of which of those products or services makes most sense for you to start with based on what you love, what you know, and what you've got access to? Right. So, for example, poor dance teacher, the dance teacher example is probably one of my favorites, when she went, well, if I'm choosing something I love, I want to fly a team of Latin American authentic salsa dancers from Argentina and do a tour of the UK. Great. Have you got lots of money? No, I haven't got a penny. Probably won't start with that one then. Like, what one makes most sense to start? Well, it's probably promoting your first dance class, isn't it? And seeing if you can get 4 or 5 bookings, enough to cover the costs of the community center, and start there. Like, it's starting where you're at, not where you wish you were at. So for those of you that are choosing ideas, you go, well, I've got, let's say, like, I'm passionate about carpentry. Cool. What's the product or service you're going to start with? You want to start by teaching people how to work with wood? Are you going to start by making cabinets? Is it art stuff you want to do? Is it children's toys? Is it like, what's the thing that's your best guess of what lights you up that you can start straight away? Part of the process of getting unstuck is going back to a lead product or service. It's the thing that you stick at the tip of your arrow. Because if you've got too many things going on, you're not clear on your business. If you're not clear about your business, then nobody else is going to be. Because if you're confused, let me tell you, you're confusing everybody else. So really, this is about simplifying it down, step by step. Pick something you love. Pick a thing that you can start selling first, straight away. And that's a really interesting comment, Jerry, actually. First wanted to teach, but now finding I love research and writing feels good to me. Now, part of the decision-making process, you've just reminded me, Jerry, part of the decision-making process as to which product or service you choose depends on your pressing need to earn cash as much as it does excitement interest and available resource. Because for some of you, and I get it because I've been there, some of you go, I need to make some money quick. Like, I'm going to park my big ideas until later. I just need to get out there and make ends meet. If you're in that position, then you've got to add finances, be realistic about your finances and go, well, if I need to make an extra 500 quid a month, which product or service makes sense to deliver that amount of money based on what I enjoy doing and what I've got access to? Does that make sense? So there's a few things in play. If you're looking at me going, Simon, like I've literally got so many Porsches on my driveway, money is no object. So money isn't an issue for me. I get to choose whatever it is that I want. Like, firstly, why are you here? Secondly, good for you. But for most of us, there is an element of I've got to make some decisions here, haven't I, about resource, excitement, and money. Those things in play, I need to come out of that circle A, knowing what my products or services that I'm going to start trying to sell first. Okay. The next stage is, who is the customer most likely to buy it? Now, there's a step that everybody skips, right? We get so bogged down with trying to figure out, we're trying to figure out who our target audience is. Like, sometimes, people hear about niche marketing and they go, my target customer is going to be women between the ages of 35 and 50 who live in Kent. And you go, great. So how are you going to find them then? And that's when they go a little bit melty, because it's too big. Okay. Now, there's two elements to circle B. Element number one is the people that you already know. Element two is strangers. The step that most people skip is pitching their business idea to people that are already in your network. I've never met anybody, Alison, I'm going to help you get to your target audience, but I've never met anybody that's exhausted their friends, family, co-workers, former co-workers, people that you went to school, college, university with, and randoms that you connected with on social media that you've had a few weird comment exchanges over the years, and you kind of know each other digitally, right? That, to me, in that group are customers and message carriers. If you skip that, you are skipping how to refine your pitch. You are skipping the knowledge. You are skipping the experience. You are skipping the confidence, and you're missing out on cash. So people try and jump to target audience because they're trying to jump to an established business in one step. Go back a bit, get out your phone and look at the people that you already know, that you're connected to on social media, that you've got on WhatsApp. Some of the most effective new business owners are ones that are in a community WhatsApp, or the WhatsApp for the schools. Like, my little one goes to primary school. Like, apparently I'm not allowed in the WhatsApp. It's a mum's WhatsApp, and I don't qualify. There's a mum's WhatsApp. I think I'm going to start on a dad's WhatsApp just to like mess with them, where we talk about football or something. I don't know. It's what dads talk about, isn't it? I don't really know. Anyway, rabbit hole. So, but you've got a bunch of people who already know you. The whole point of marketing is getting yourself and your product or your service known by strangers to a point where they like it enough and trust you enough to buy it. You can skip all of those steps by starting with people that you already know in some way. You've got an elevated level of trust. Elevated level of trust means sale or referral. You've got to start speaking to people, guys. And I think, 2003, when I launched my first business, by the way, Jerry, that's exactly what this process is going to do. It's going to build your confidence. It's going to build your confidence, because once you've had 10 conversations about it, you'll be a different person to the one you are sitting in your chair right there. Because at the moment, your story is, I am not confident that my product will sell enough. Okay. Now that story is based on everything that you know up until this moment. Well, everything that you know up until this moment is history. It's already gone. So it's not relevant anymore. The thing that I've got to get you to find out is, How do I build my confidence that my product will sell? Well, I need to go and have as many conversations with as many people as quickly as I can so that I can find out if the damn thing's going to sell or not. And I think that's the mistake that I made. I sent one email in 2003. I left my career, my first career, which my mum is still not happy about. I'm like, Mum, that was 20 years ago and I've got a business in 7 countries. We're doing all right. She said, yeah, but you had such a promising career. Anyway, I sent one email, didn't get a reply, got depressed for 2 weeks and didn't do anything. And the clues here are in circle C. The clues are in C. It's the sort of action that you need to take, but I'm setting you up for it now. So guys, this next bit really, before we even get to target audience, in fact, let's do it right now. Send a message, either a text or a WhatsApp message or a direct message on Messenger or LinkedIn or whatever your weapon of choice is. If you're under the age of 22, it will be Snapchat. Still don't get it. I've had it for years, but I still don't get it. I basically just get it to track my kids. You're like, so that's where you are. So the thing I want you to think about is, who is it that I can make contact with now? And I'm going to type in the chat the message that you're going to send them. If it's someone you haven't spoken to for a while, don't worry. I'm not going to make you flog stuff to them. This is just about reconnecting with people. And it's something like this. Obviously, like, don't put their name as Jeff if their name isn't Jeff. I just use Jeff and Jemima as my stooges when I'm writing messages and stuff. So it's something like, hey, Jeff, it's been a while, free for a catch up. That's it. That's all it is. And when you get on the phone with them, you go, so what are you doing? What are you up to? Where are you at now? Like, is there anything I can do to help you? Actually, there's one thing you can do. I just want to test my pitch out on you. It's called a soft pitch. Would you mind? Like, before I go and take my business out to strangers, I really trust you to give me honest feedback. I want to test out my pitch and tell you what it is that I'm doing. Would you be up for that? And that's what you say on the call. Nobody's ever said no. Ever. Now, if you can have 10 of those a week, 10 of those conversations, and Ant's going for it, you're taking action. I love it. If you can have 10 of those conversations a week, guys, things are going to happen. I was up in Hartlepool. There was an artist, bless her. This artist, she got really nervous because she chose her former boss. She said, I've not spoken to him for 5 years and you're making me message him. Like, I don't want to be that person that shows up after 5 years and tries to get money out of him. I said, I'm not doing that. This isn't about making sales to somebody who doesn't want to buy your stuff. You're just reconnecting and asking for help. And it's called a soft pitch. You're not actually selling to them. You kind of are, but you're not. Yeah. You're really just asking them, hey, how's it going? What you been up to? Really need your help with something. Let me test my pitch. She made an 800 quid sale from that conversation. Like, I can't promise that's going to happen to you, but the first one she did, she made a sale for an art commission and it blew us both away. I was like pretending I knew that it was going to happen. Well, I told you. But what I can promise is if you don't send those messages and start talking to people that you know, guys, you're not going to make the sales. You're skipping the step. You're skipping the step. Speak to as many people as you can. And then we get on to part 2 of Circle B, which is strangers. So how do you sell to strangers? Well, you need some clues. The clues are, where are your customers hanging out? Who is the person most likely to buy what it is that you're selling? In that case matter, if there's absolutely no one that you know, now I reckon I get what you mean. I get what you mean about maybe you're a bit isolated, or you've moved to a different country or a different town or city and you don't know so many people. Like, part of your job is to get out there. You've got to get out there. And I moved up to Leicestershire in the UK in about 2013. And yeah, that's a good point, Stephen, actually. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Very, very good point that you're making. Our Facebook group's got something like 6,000 or 7,000 people in it. Every single one of them have been through a Rebel Business School course of some description, they get it. So you got a support network waiting for you right there. If you're not in that group, we'd love you to join. When I moved up to a different county, I'm from Hampshire originally. I don't know anybody. In fact, I moved to a new village recently. I moved out of the city into a village. I've even had to join the local football team, the village vets football team. Like, I don't even qualify for the main team anymore. It's so it's people. You're just going to start bumping into people. And let me tell you, just to give you a bit of confidence, I'm an introvert, guys. Like, I know you wouldn't necessarily think that because of the work that I do. I've accidentally built a business where when I'm presenting for hours and hours a week, but that's like, I have to go and hide under the duvet after this. Like, I have to go and recharge my batteries. It's not like I have to put myself out there. And I want you guys to do the same. Now, when we were younger, when we were children, the advice we were given was don't talk to strangers. That's great advice when you're 6. That's terrible advice if you're starting a business. I want you to start talking to strangers, guys, and start making friends with people and build your networks, because that really is a game changer. When it comes to strangers, let me give you an example. We had Nisa came on one of our Camden courses in London. Her business, she was selling beauty products. It was a kind of moisturizing cream and face masks and stuff like that. And I said to her, like, who's your biggest competitor? Like, if people are buying a similar kind of product at a similar price point, where would they most likely go? And she reeled off 2 or 3 brands. And I said, right, well, let's go onto social media and see what their followers look like. Now, her target audience are going to be following her competitors. Let me say that again. Her target audience were going to be following her competitors. So if you want to find your target customer, who else is selling either something similar or something related, or they've got your target audience for a different reason? Lots and lots of places to find your customers online. So, for example, if your business is a local business and you're selling to parents of young kids, that's your target audience. You know where to find them. They're going to be following the schools. So you can go onto the school social media accounts and see who's posting. You can physically go to the school at kick-out time and hand out flyers to people. That, like, the steps in the process are, who is most likely to buy my stuff and where are they hanging out, both in real life and online. The shortcut here is, what else are my customers buying? And that will give you clues. Like, what cafes do they go to? Could jump on the cafe Facebook page or Instagram. They'll be in the comments and following them. Are they getting beauty treatments? Are they going to gigs? Are they going to, are they going to theaters? Like, the answer to the question, Alison, is about marketing is, will my marketing work? Well, the answer is, who is your customer? Now, flyers don't work for all businesses, but why do we still get them? Why are they still given out? They must work at some level for some types of businesses. So you got to figure out, what's the cheapest and fastest way that I can build trust with my potential customers. Social media, you don't have to do social media, but it is like putting your marketing on steroids. You can start a anywhere in the world and start building trust with them straight away. I'm going to talk to Ali's question right now before we go on to the last bit, guys. Ali said, read competitors, how much does market saturation or being late to the market play in? Is there a fast way to know if the market is saturated? I'm going to reverse that. And the way that I look at it is this: there is plenty of business for all of us. What I mean by that is, how many customers per month would be a life-changing number for you? How many customers per month? And it depends on what money is that you need to make. And it'll be different for all of us. But right, so if you had 10 customers a month, now, do you think that market saturation has got anything to do with a business that only needs 10 customers per month? Do you see what I mean? There's 18,000 business schools in the world, 18,000 business schools. And if you add to that the number of business advisors, business coaches, business trainers, business consultants, business training courses, workshops, etc., etc. Like, who the hell are we to start a business school? There are already lots of business schools, aren't there? Well, nobody does it quite like us. And we don't need to teach business to the entire planet. We only need we run something like 50 courses a year. Well, 55, 60 courses if you count Colombia and New Zealand, where we're running our programs as well. So we don't need loads and loads. So actually, market saturation for me is usually code for fear. It's code. It's a code word. Like, I'm a bit scared that there's already lots of insert thing. When I was in Namibia, one of the most successful small businesses that had just launched was a catering business for special occasions. And it's a goat's head delicacy. Has anyone ever eaten goat's head before? Heather's not excited by the idea. Lee saying not yet. It's that magic 3-letter word again, right? Now, what happened was they launched the goat's head. Amazing, Shanella. Like, did you like it? Was it any good? Like, I didn't try it. I feel like this was a missed opportunity. But what happened was she was so successful with her business. Suddenly there was like 25 goat's head delicacy businesses that all popped up around her, but nobody did it quite like her. And she was so passionate about her particular recipe that had been handed down by generations, etc., that she was able to make enough money, even though other people were literally stealing her lunch, right? She was still able to do it. So for all of us here, all we need to do is to recognize we're not trying to boil the ocean. Most of us don't want to be the next Facebook. We just want a bit of power, a bit of control in our lives. How do we do that? Well, you pick something you love. You pick one product or service to start with or restart with if you're feeling stuck. You go and talk to all of your friends and family and co-workers, and you reconnect with people that you used to work with, but you lost touch with them because you moved away and we had kids and all that stuff. Get back on the phone, start dialing, start texting, and just have a few conversations with people. Test your pitch out. I 100% guarantee that you will feel more empowered on the other side of those calls. Because most of us are waiting for the motivation to go and take the action that we need to take. Most of us are waiting for the fear to dissipate a little. If I got a little bit less fear, then I'll be able to go and do my thing. Well, actually, it's the other way around. You've got to take action to get that confidence. You've got to take action for the fear to go. You've got to take action to feel motivated. And that's what the third one is all about, guys. Don't take 6 months to figure out if this idea is going to work. Get it done in 6 days. Don't send one email, send 500 over the course of the next few weeks. Don't make one phone call, make 50 a week. Don't do one Facebook post, do 3 a day, and drop as many comments as you can on other people's, especially when you're your target audience. So I think like that, to me, guys, if you came to me, is there anyone here right now that looks at that chart and said, I've done all of that. I've picked something I love. I've got one product or service. I know exactly who my target audience is. And I've spoken to everyone that I know. And I've taken loads and loads of action to promote. Like I've very rarely meet people in the first sort of 2 or 3 years of their business. Yeah, like, and this is the important point, Matat. The important point here is use this chart to recognize where you need to put your energy and effort next. Like, what's your next action? For some of you, it's choosing a thing. Your next action is to choose a thing. Choose a mini experiment. By that, I mean, pick a product or pick a service. For some of you, it's you got to get on the phone and start chatting to people that you already know. For some of you, it's you got to identify your target audience. If you've done A and B, like Matat has, your next step is execution. And I don't mean guillotine. I mean taking action, getting stuff done. Now, if you're on C, good, Ali. And that's the thing. Like, you've got to. I'm going to come on to C in a second. You've got to really. It's like the butterfly effect, not the movie, but the butterfly effect in the early stages of starting a business, and it's usually linked to fear as well. Now, I bet, like, just confess for me in the chat and type the word me if what I'm about to say describes you. You get a new business idea every 2 or 3 days, sometimes every 2 or 3 hours, occasionally every 2 or 3 minutes, and sometimes in the middle of the night. And you wake up and you go, oh my God, this is the one. I'm so pumped for this. I'm so excited. And then you do what I did the other day. You go, I'm going to spend the next 8 hours building a website, creating a social media. I made my logo on Canva. I've got all my ducks in a row. And then ta-da. Oh no, I don't think I really want to do that, actually. I don't think I really want to do it. I think it's a different, but yeah. And then by the way, the next stage, it's all right, Jerry, it's part of the process, my friend. We just don't want to sit there forever, right? The next thing that we're going to do is beat ourselves up over the fact that we've not finished that idea. And you go, there we go, it's another unfinished business project. Here's the thing, if you didn't have any ideas at all, that would be a different problem. So for those of you that that's resonated with, it's all good. It's all good. And it's all part of your story too. Like, it's going to be, you know, when you crack it, Sarah, let me give you some encouragement. You will crack it, and it probably won't happen in the way that you expect it to. And I think that's one of the other things why I'm so passionate about thought being the number one thing that holds people back, because our fears force us to kind of almost like try and outthink all of the scenarios that are going to happen. So like I've got it all under control in my head. It's an absolute myth. We haven't got anything under control at all. So you can just relax and just let the universe take over and just trust yourself. And by that, I mean, when you get in front of somebody talking with passion about whatever it is that you do with an excitement, you'll make sales. You don't need to be the best salesperson. One of the things that tipped me into business was realizing that there's people around me whose ideas weren't as good, who weren't working as hard as me, making good money, you know? And how are you guys going to do that? Well, it's the F word. No, not that one. Focus. Focus. And I meet many people on our courses. I reckon it's about 2/3 of the Rebel School team as well, actually, funnily enough, but there's not too many of them here, so I don't think they'll mind too much. I might describe as ADHD tendencies, right? Which I think is a natural thing to find people in the entrepreneurial space, because normal life is just way too freaking dull. Like, we are built for curiosity, for making shit happen, for trying different things out and exploring our ideas and creativity. And we're breaking free of the mold, hence the Rebel Business School, of the mold that's been created for us either by our schools, our society, our culture, our education system, you know, our loved ones. We're breaking free of that. And we're saying things like, Mum, I love you very much, but I need to go and do this for me. Or to our partners that go, I remember the time I resigned from my job, my ex. I said, I've resigned. You've done what? Yeah, I didn't enjoy it anymore. Have you got anything to go to? Nope. I'm going to create a thing. You're going to do what? Anyway, so yes, Sarah, Tovey, 50% of self-made men. Yeah. Like, we are dripping in neurodiversity, even on this call, guys. Let's celebrate it and follow that process on the screen, and you're more likely to get the results that you want. All right. So, you know, you don't have to sit in the same thing, guys, as well. You don't have to sit in it for 8 hours a day. This is the other thing I've noticed, that transition from being paid by someone else for many years, going into starting your own thing. We have this weird thing where we feel like we've got to be working for 8-10 hours a day for it to feel like it's a proper job. Like, it's taken me, actually, I realized this myself quite recently. It's taken me a long time to actually break free of that. So look, I'm just pointing it to you now. I would rather you spent 2 hours a day, really focused activity on this thing that's on the screen right now, than sit worrying for 8 or 10 hours and pontificating over whether it's the right idea or the wrong idea. Right. So there's a thing here that I'm excited for you, which is pick a thing Pick a target audience, start with the people that you know, speak to as many people as you can. And if you want to get faster progress, speak to more people. If you want to get faster progress, get a bit more uncomfortable. Things like put a video on your Facebook feed. So some of you have gone like, Sarah, I think you went back about 4 foot. Then you went, whoa, did you just say put a video? Yeah, I did. Yeah. If you want faster progress, stick something on your story. If you want faster progress, find, follow, comment, share 50 times a day on your target audience for a week and see what happens. Nothing will happen for 3 days, but that's when most people give up. Day 4, day 5, day 6, you'll start seeing the results. So really, guys, a mini experiment is about not spending any money, like little money as possible, having a go at something. Nice work, Alison. And I guess, like, just to wrap up, guys, here's the action territory. What's the next thing that you need to do? What's the thing that needs to happen next? Please stick it in the chat. What's your next action? If you've already taken an action whilst you've been listening to me bleat on, then I want to hear about it, guys, because this is the thing that's going to make the biggest difference. And so look, whilst you're doing that, thank you very much for joining the session. I hope you've got something out of it. We've got a Facebook support group where you can ask people for help with your ideas. We've got Rebel Business School courses. If you've never been to one before, you have to come to one. Why? Because they're free. It's the best business education that money can't buy. It's a £2,000 ticket value for a free 2-week course. And we don't try and sell you anything that you don't want either, which is what usually happens on free webinars. Like some of you, if you've never been to a Rebel School thing, you're probably sat there thinking, oh, so when is he going to sell us the 40 grand coaching package that's got 5 places left at 10K each? When does that happen? We don't do any of that. We don't need to. Jerry, we've been a few times. You missed it, but we'll come back. I promise. In fact, Ewan from the Rebel team is from the Isle of Wight. You need to look at, are you only good at crochet, Jerry? We've got somebody that's been on our course called Pia Simpson. She's literally the crochet queen of the Isle of Wight. If you don't know Pia, you need to check her out. She's like front page cover girl of Crochet Monthly or something like. Her designs are famous. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for coming. We'd love to see you on a course. Ewan stuck the link into our Facebook group. We'd love you to join that group. You can get help, guidance from the community and also from the Rebel team. We've got something coming called Rebel Plus that's being officially launched in the next couple of months. This is beyond exciting, guys. Let me tell you, it's monthly masterclasses, it's networking, it's curated content, it's free courses. We've got something coming up called the Rebel Finance School, where we're teaching people for free how to get out of debt, take control of your finances and plan for a retirement. We've got people that have got out of 60, 70 grand's worth of debt in 7-8 months as a result of coming on those courses. So there is so much stuff that we've got for you. Like, if this is the first time you've experienced this kind of stuff, great. And you're very welcome. Some of you are veterans of Rebel Business School stuff, but we would love you to join in the future. And thank you, Ewan. You're literally the king of links today. You knew that it would take me too long to copy and paste this stuff. I get overexcited. So guys, anyway, please join the group. Please find me on social media and tell me about your progress. My name is, this is me. You can find me on the channels under that handle. And Ewan, could you pop in the Instagram or Twitter or whatever, Instagram link to the Rebel School as well when you get a sec? That would be fantastic. Guys, thank you very much for joining the call. Go out there and take action. See you later.